Welcome back to AfricaCom TV, of course, where we are accelerating the digital transformation of Africa through conversations and meeting some of the amazing speakers. And one of those is somebody who's not new to AfricaCom TV. In fact, he was here last year talking about virtual reality and how it can be used in the most practical of ways. And this year, it's all about healthcare. Malcolm Share is with Eden Immersive. Lovely to have you back.
Thank you very much, Africa. Lovely to be here.
Virtual reality, how can it be useful in a healthcare environment?
So we've been doing a lot of work in the VR realm, and for me personally, I've kind of gotten to a point where it's like, how do we make meaningful changes in people's lives today? So everyone's worried about 4IR and robotics and AI and how it's going to take our jobs, but it's a matter of looking at it and going, how can this better everyday people's lives? So healthcare is something, if you're human, you've had a problem with your health at some point. And we're looking at it in three different components. One is emotional well-being, one is cognitive function, and one is physical function. And we're creating products that address solutions for all three of those areas.
In fact, one of the areas is around people who've had a stroke.
Absolutely.
And need to do some rehabilitative work. How does virtual reality help in that treatment?
So what we've noticed is, if you look at it globally, in the UK, there's one acquired brain injury every 90 seconds. In America, there are 13 million people that are hospitalized annually with that. Yet there are only 500,000 registered occupational therapists around the world.
Wow.
Which, when you understand that if you have a stroke, you're only going to see your OT for an hour a week, on average, you understand why that happens. The biggest concern that occupational therapists and physiotherapists have is measurable outcomes and turning those into functional outcomes. So being able to have VR, a solution that is occupational therapy in a box that you can take home with you, means that you're able to practice those functional outcome exercises and have measurable results from that in your own time. That when you reconvene with your occupational therapist, they now have a dashboard where the tech has measured what your range of motion is compared to last week, which keeps you motivated and helps the occupational therapist come up with better strategies that are personalized for you.
In fact, the efficiency of the data that the occupational therapist will be able to access will probably end up with you healing a little bit faster, because now we know the range of movement in that exercise has increased from that point to that point, therefore it's working, or it's not working, so let's try a different movement.
Absolutely, and because we're collecting those data sets from a large number of people, you're not waiting as an occupational therapist for a paper to be released 3 years after the research was done. We now have machine learning looking at those data sets and going, well, this patient's not able to move their wrist, but we noticed with 1,000 other patients that when they start using their rotator cuff, they're able to move their wrists a lot better 2 weeks later. So it's about analyzing those data sets and understanding how range of motion is influenced by things that, it could be influenced by your mental well-being and understanding the different cognitive games that we're putting in there. So taking three different aspects, putting it together into data sets and seeing how a holistic recovery strategy can be employed.
Has this been received with some measure of excitement?
Absolutely. We have 4 academic advisors on our panel from 4 different universities, and they're all involved in different aspects. So we've got artificial intelligence, we've got psychologists, industrial psychologists, because we can roll it out into corporates as well. So it's not just for people who are recovering, as well as occupational therapists and functional medicine. So there's a lot of interest in it, and it's global. It's not just local.
Sounds absolutely amazing and exciting. Thank you very much for coming to join us.
Thank you very much, Africa.
That's Malcolm Share from Eden Immersive. Virtual reality in the healthcare space. How exciting.